What's up, guys? I finally get to show you my Mosin Nagant PE sniper rifle. You might be saying, hey, there's no scope on that PE sniper rifle. Well, yeah, you'd be right, because it's not actually a PE sniper rifle. It's what we refer to as an ex-PE sniper rifle. This was part of the original Russian sniper program, part of the first set of rifles to ever get made with sniper quality barrels in the mid-30s. Originally, the Russians, beginning to focus on snipers heavily in the early to mid-30s, would take rifles, regular 9130 infantry rifles, and test them for accuracy. And the best rifles, most accurate ones, would become sniper rifles. It wasn't until the mid-30s, I believe 1934, that they would begin to produce sniper rifles with special grade sniper barrels to different tolerances and to much higher quality, much better quality control as well. This rifle was made in 1935 out of the Tula factory, and even though it looks like a 9130, it bears the markings of its past. Now, the original PE sniper rifles would have a mount that would not be very good. It would lose zero quite easily. They would then move to the PEM sniper rifle. Same scope, different mount. But the rifles, which had been drilled or had holes drilled to fit the original PE mount, could not be re-arsenaled into PEM sniper rifles because they already had the holes drilled into the breech for the PE mounts. So they were the holes were simply filled and they were returned into service as 9130 infantry rifles. The PEMs would have a different hole pattern, I believe just on one side instead of both sides of the breech. The PEM mount would just go on one side and it would mount the scope much better and it would not lose zero as easily. In the early 40s, they would move to the PU scope and the PU mount, which is actually what most people know as the famous Russian sniper rifle that you would actually see an enemy at the gates that Vasily Zaitsev would use, which in actuality he used a PEM sniper rifle. But that's a whole other video, which I'm sure you can find multiple people doing videos on other places on YouTube and things like that. But this rifle carries a whole lot of history, and you're going to have to excuse it today because its muzzle is a little bit corroded and pitted. It probably did not see service as a sniper rifle, being that it was probably a sniper rifle in the mid-30s, and one of the early, in a way, test subjects. That was the foundation of the Russian sniper program, but it definitely seen service as an infantry rifle by just how dirty the rifle was when I got it, the state of the muzzle, the corrosion at the bore, and the general wear and tear. Now, this still has its wartime stock, which is pretty cool. It doesn't have the original PE stock, which would have the old school pre-war escutcheons that still have the screws in them, which escutcheons is the metal where the sling goes through. The wartime stocks, because the Russians were pressed for metal, would have no escutcheons, which is hard to see because of the sling, but there's no metal in these sling holes. Just a little tab of metal on here and no metal on this one. That was simply to save steel. Now, post-war, you'll see a lot of sniper rifles that were refurbed after the war, and they have metal escutcheons put in, but that wouldn't be done until, I believe, 45 and after the war. This one still sports its wartime stock. Now, if it had that stock when it was a sniper rifle, I don't know, maybe, maybe not. But it has so many stamps on it and proof marks that I have never seen many of them, and I don't even know where they come from. It's just simply because this gun was one thing, then it was another thing, and who knows how many times it was re-arsenaled. But what is cool is that it has a major stock repair. I find it cool down the side and right here at, I believe you call that the tang. I could be wrong, but it amazes me how good the Russians were at these stock repairs. Now, I wonder why they decided to stock repair instead of put on a new stock. Most likely because it was something that had to be done fast, and they just didn't have the wood for a new stock, I'd have to assume. But let's go get some patterns on this gun. And once again, I don't expect super tight groups with the corrosion at the muzzle, but you're going to have to excuse this gun once again because it's seen a lot of service, and it did its job at forming the basis for the most famous snipers the world would ever see. Let's do some shooting, guys. This is not special ammo, guys. This is just Red Army, what's it called? Red Army Select, or Red Army Standard by Century Arms. Nothing special, steel casing. So if we can group good with this, we can group good with anything. All right, let's see if we can get a good grouping. We're here at 75 yards. The Mosins were sighted in originally at 77. So let's see what we can achieve from this crappy rest. Let's see if we can make anything happen here. Oh, this is not a good rest. All right, my rest situation at 75 was just not really doable. Wasn't getting in my best shooting. I haven't even gone down there to check the grouping, but I'm now going to shoot at 50 at a better rest and see how I do. Kind of rushed that one. And number 5. All right. Let's go take a look how we did. I still don't think I did my best shooting because I'm freezing and all this Gore-Tex is slippery, so it's kind of hard to bear down into the gun. Not to make excuses, but let's go see. All right, let me explain my groups a little bit before you judge too harsh. So from me being on my knees at that really bad rest that you've seen, this was my first 5 shots at 75 yards. It's my first shot, and here were my next 4. Then I moved to 50, and I held in 2 different spots, a little bit lower and a little bit higher. This is what I would consider my grouping at 50 yards. Not bad. Here's all 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But this is more close to what I thought my grouping would look like. But I wasn't happy with that. So I went prone for some shots. These shots were actually done standing braced against a tree, which kind of overlap into my other group, but prone with a decent rest. This was my grouping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know how many are on top of each other right here, but we'll say that this is my grouping at 50 while prone. For a sniper rifle, I mean, it's not the greatest, but for a gun that I thought was shot out with the corroded muzzle that looked like the surface of the moon, that's not bad at all. That's actually a practice standing shot that I did because my hammer dropped, my firing pin dropped and the gun didn't go off. It's so damn cold out here. I think there might be some gunk and cosmoline up in my bolt, but I just stood up and pulled the trigger, and that's where that came from. But focusing on the target prone, that's what we're looking at. I'm really happy with it. I can't wait to get to 100, 200 yards. And hey, my groups, I think would be even better because I came out here when the sun was down below the tree line. It's like 25 degrees. I have no good bench rest. I'm gonna buy myself a good stable sometime soon in the future so I can actually get some better data. But for now, thanks for tuning in, checking out my XPE sniper rifle, and keep your eyes out on Gunbroker, because if you spot a Mosin sniper rifle with those markings, you might be able to get yourself a sniper rifle without the scope and mount, granted, for much cheaper than you would pay straight up for a sniper rifle. I mean, to be honest, I paid the price of a normal 9130, the upper cost. I paid $500 for it. That's the most you want to pay for a 9130. But for the history and what it actually is, it's well worth it. And I think the XPEs are going to be one of the next big collectibles because a lot of people are refurbishing them into sniper rifles again and drilling the holes, getting scopes. And I think that's ridiculous. I think it's cool enough as it is. You don't need to re-sniperize it. But I'm starting to get freezing cold, guys. We're going to take my Mosins out here real soon and do a test against them, pit them up against each other. And we got a Garen video coming soon. Or I got a Garen video coming soon. It's just me and doing this damn channel. But yeah, stay tuned for that. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and till next time.